And we are recording. Welcome to another episode of Hangout with Mentors. We show up here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm Susan Bachelder. And who are we? We are the Unstoppable Alliance. And we always have a panel of other mentors, a topic, value-based topics. So we don't necessarily talk about our top-tier products or the compensation plan, but we do talk about value-based topics, techniques, strategies that you can use, not just even in your business even, but often applies to all areas of your life. So here we are again, another episode. If you are a member, thank you for joining us. It means a lot to us. We hope you get value from this one, past ones, future ones. Do give us feedback. It helps us to know what kind of content to continue providing you. If you're not sure how to use this, the recording, the platform itself, just let us know, because there's instructions and actually an entire Hangout with Mentors episode based on how do you use it? How can it help you in your business? If you're not a member and you've been invited by a member, make sure and get back with them and ask them a few things. How can you become a part of it? How can you make sure to always know what the topics are, when they are, which they're always on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. The past recordings, it's almost evergreen, almost always evergreen, excuse me. So there's likely a few of the past topics that are valuable to you. So welcome, and make sure you stay till the end. And your feedback, your questions, your voice matters. In fact, I think next week we'll probably do another Voices of the Community, and we've missed one of those. So you'll hear from even more of our members. Tonight's topic is similar to all the topics. It has to do with life in general and business. And the three things, in case you didn't see the topic, I'm just going to preface it by saying, if you don't know what the three things that we're referring to, it might surprise you. But the guesses, I was having a lot of guesses, like on the posts and in inboxes and stuff. What are the three things? I'm dying to know, which is specifically why, hint, hint, why it was put like that. Curiosity marketing is probably one of the most powerful marketing that you can do. So that's just a little side note there. The three things might surprise you, but all of the suggestions and questions of what they were, they lead back to these three main core things. So that's why this topic is so valued. So I'm just going to start off by just giving you the whole bunch all at once, and then we'll go around and discuss them. The first of the three things, and this will prevent you in so many areas of your life, not just your business, but fear. That can be the greatest and most powerful block if you allow it to. But there's a lot of techniques, strategies, and perception that help you get past fear. So fear is number one. The very first step is being aware that it can stop you, hold you back, be a blocker. That awareness is probably about 80% of getting past it. And just, we're all human. We're all human. I know some of us think that we're, unicorns dressed up as humans or something like that. But really, we are all human. We all have fears, and they're really true. Some of us not very often. Like I like to think that I'm mostly fearless, but I remember having a conversation once with Tammy, and she helped me get past this specific fear. I'm kind of joking there, but anyway.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's happened more than once. Anyway.
And it happened, and she was mistaken. So.
Anyway, number two is lack of self-esteem. That's a really big one. And all three of these things, I also want to say that these are ongoing things that all of us, and that's why I thought this was a really good topic for us to talk about. It's a process. It's a part of the journey. It's not something that you work on and you're done. There's no done. It's all a part of the journey. And it's something, all three of these things we need to work on ongoing. So it's well worth this time to contemplate it and discuss it. with these intelligent people here. Yeah, so self-esteem, that's a big one. Limited vision. Limited vision. And I don't know how many people told me, no, I don't have limited vision. We all do. We all do. And one of the best ways to expand your vision is to hang out with people that are like-minded or that are further ahead than us or have a different way of thinking, a different perspective. And it's these kind of conversations actually that we have every single week that help us keep on expanding our vision. It has to be ever growing. It has to be, we have to be open to know that our vision is still always limited. It can still always grow. We can expand our awareness, expand our perception. And that, again, the moment we're aware of that, our vision already expands. So we are never done opening our vision. It's always limited because, again, we're not really unicorns dressed up as humans. We are human, and our vision gets limited. And the interesting thing is one of the great products and opportunities, programs that we're all very involved in and promote U Economy. It has a product, the U Mentor product, and the only U Mentor episode that I missed was Monday, and I can't wait to listen to the recording. I still haven't had time, but it was about perception. And I really like the core component that Peter started building that off on. And we see with our eyes, but we perceive beyond our eyes. We perceive from within. And our perception of everything has everything to do with these three things: fear, our self-esteem, and our vision, or lack of, or limited vision. We cannot grow, we cannot build, we cannot expand in scarcity, in lack, in fear, and if we doubt ourselves. If we doubt our ability to step up to the next level, if we have deserve issues on the abundance that we can create, or what about that financial thermostat thing? Many of the people that we talk to, in fact, a candidate, a fresh new potential member, a candidate I was speaking to this afternoon, was aiming for $500 a week. That needs to be adjusted, right? So this has everything to do with all of our lives, and especially this profession that we are in. Yeah, so that's kind of, I wanted to kind of lay the groundwork. Ray, did you mention that you have a limited time? Do you have to jump off? And would you like to speak on the topic first, or?
Sure. I mean, I could, I mean, within the hour we can, as long as I'm here within the hour, but anyway, yeah.
Well, just go for it anyway. Just
No,
go.
great topic, by the way. Of course, you always pick them. You always nail them down. But I just want to say the three things. Fear. One of the things about fear, I think we're all over the fear that this would kill us. It's wondering if we can really succeed at it. I think sometimes, but I think something about fear. I remember when I didn't graduate high school, but I went to get my GED, and I was so scared to take that test. And I remember, of course, it was so deep, I didn't want to tell anybody about it. And there was a guy who I was talking to, and he said, "Well, why didn't you go take the test yet?" And I said, "Well," and I kind of let it out the bag. When you let something out before you even let it, it went out of your mouth, and you're trying to grab the words again. I said, "Well, I'm afraid I won't pass." And he said, "What are you afraid of? Just go do it. Who cares if you fail or not?" And that was the thing that set me free. Who cares if I fail or not? And I was like, wow, that's true. Who cares if I fail or not? I went and did it. So I went and took it, and I passed the first time. So, I mean, I was being held back because of being afraid of, failing, and it's funny because these are the things we kind of hide to ourselves because we just don't want to let anybody know. And I think most times in business, that's one of the things. It's like, will I succeed? And if I fail, oh my gosh, what will people say? And whatever the fear may be for anybody, it's just being able to know you can go forward, and who cares what other people think? Who cares if you don't make it, you tried, and you tried something that you wanted to do. That's the big deal. And I believe that most people will succeed if they go after it, and they go after it, and know that they are around the right information, and that they have the right information that they can actually apply, and actually see results. I always said it like this, even with carpet cleaning. I remember a guy who taught me carpet cleaning marketing. I saw him do it, and I said, well, if it's working for him, why won't it work for me? And after I took the action, it always ended in a pleasant result, or at least a result that I could see and know that, hey man, that worked. That worked for me. And if somebody else is doing something and getting results, doggone it, you can get the same results. You can get those results. And if not the same results, you will get results that you can pattern after and build up to. So that's one of the things that I always go back to if I'm fearful about something. But you said something, Susan, that's really key, is that you got to be aware that you're afraid. And once you're aware of it and you go, hey, wait a minute, okay, I'm afraid. But once you let it out, it pretty much becomes, okay, so now I faced it, and now I can go forward. It's a real simple shift, I think, in most cases. And then lack of self-esteem, that's one thing I had to work on, and I have to work on daily. And how I work on that is reading. And you talked about getting around other people, bigger minds, people who have went the way, and have great success. And that's one of the things and I find that in reading other people's stories, reading biographies. I mean, when you hear some of the entrepreneurs that started from nothing, you're amazed at, wait a minute, this person made that through all that crap they went through. Unreal. So when you see that, that's one of the things that expands my mind to believe in myself. When I see other people that have came from less than I have, and I see that what they overcame, it really does go, wow, I have no excuse. So it helps me get over the excuses. That's one of the lack of self-esteem. And listening to myself, having affirmations that I could say daily to myself. I actually have a app on my phone that I record my voice, make an affirmation, and I listen to. And a lot of times I listen to before I go to sleep, or when I'm tired, because that's when it's really getting into my subconscious mind. And I know because I dream about the very thing I'm speaking about, and I see myself being, 10 foot tall and bulletproof. So that's one of the things that I do. And then limited vision, again, reading. It helps me see a bigger picture. And I used to read just to read a book, but now I read to really I read books that really challenge me, and that's really been helping me get a bigger vision. And when things have to change, they have to change. I don't really care for that so much, but when they do, they have to. And reading helps me do that. Again, reading helps me get bigger ideas, bigger pictures. It helps me see the bigger picture, maybe of somebody else's vision. So yeah, that's what really helps me.
Love it. Great input. Thank you so much, Ray.
Yep.
And that is absolutely true. And that's part of what I put with the content. When we face first of all, when we become aware, and then when we just face our fears daily, it's like we exercise our courage muscle, and it doesn't seem quite so hard because we're just doing it daily. I was super, super afraid of video. I had a whole list of reasons why. I was afraid of social media, the whole internet. Goodness sakes, I'm so grateful I faced that fear. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, video was a really big thing for me, and it is for many people, and it applies to all of that. Limited vision, we don't realize what's possible, we don't see it in ourselves. That lack of self-esteem. Oh, who would want to listen to me? And then something that you said, Ray, really touched on that, and it's the stories, the reading, and that is really powerful, because that is what expands our vision. So everyone should tell their story, right? The three magic R's, because you're going to relate with someone. They're going to resonate with you.
And in fact, I just had a text right before the Zoom from somebody who watched a video, and they were like, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you. I saw your video," and I was like, "There you go." And
Yeah.
that video was put up a year ago.
There you go.
You know,
Yeah.
loved it.
Absolutely. Love it.
Loved it.
Thanks, Ray. Tammy, how are you doing with your dental freezing wearing out? Do you want to wait a bit? Are you good to go? Or
Actually, could you call on someone else? Because it's,
yeah,
okay, thank you. I'm still,
absolutely.
thank you.
For sure.
I'm trying not to
Gregory, are you
drool.
we all want to watch Tammy drool. Gregory, are you ready?
Heck yeah, always
Yeah?
ready. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I just love the technology. I can sit right here and talk to my phone and see all you awesome people and be in this collective and share some evergreen content. And so thank you for having me. And happy anniversary, Ray, also to you and your lovely wife. And so this topic really is awesome because it's the part that really popped to me was the having the awareness part. Because what good is all of that until you become aware of that, as with so many things. But um, there was an aha moment that I got one time when I heard this idea that you can never outperform your self-image. That was huge. That was a game changer for me, and that was the one that created the awareness for me to realize how small I had been playing up until that point. And then that carries right into the vision part. My vision was way too small, and and so and then going into the beliefs, they're all dovetail right into the other, but it starts with your deserve issues and your self-esteem. So I love what Ray said about looking through the personal development and seeing other people who have done have achieved things that are wonderful, and they're just regular people like us. But you know uh just seeing that we are human and seeing other people that do these things, then you take inventory and say, what, why not me, and then you ask the questions like, okay, what is it that I really want? And then once you get the clarity, which is once you get clarity on what it is that you want, then then it's they'll say it's got to scare you just a little bit, it's got to stretch you, or it's not worthy of you, that kind of a thing. But as far as the vision goes, once you can expand the vision into realizing you can be, do, and have more, then your scope has widened. True. However, I have found that once you have uh, locked onto, so to speak, what it is that you do want, then it's time to narrow the vision to just that target. And so different. So energy goes where the attention, or energy flows where the attention goes. So then, when you have laser, eyes on your target, then that's pretty much all you see. All of the things are just, nothing will stop me from getting that. And as far as the like the uh, like the fear basis, there's a couple of things. There's either forget everything and run, or false evidence appearing real. I mean, it's all perspective. It's all, when you find your why, and you become passionately attached to it, and it's something that gets you flying out of bed in the morning, then you'll find that the fear, it goes away. Because what is that Anais Nin quote? I'm going to butcher the hell out of it, but one day when she found that the pain of being tightly in the bud was too much, decided to blossom. So
Mhm.
when you can become passionate about what it is that you're doing, helping other people to become free is our passion. Helping my children be able to travel the world and really get the truest education of life. Those things excite me. So the fear doesn't show up like it would have or did before, because I only see the target. I only see what the why is, and I feel that when we get and also when we align ourselves with a group of people like that we have here, of the unstoppables, and you're in alignment with people who are also advancing and growing and reaching high and going for it, not just talking about it, but actually taking action, then you'll find you create a momentum and a trajectory with people who accelerate and are accelerating with you and create this momentum. And the fear, because now you're with people who are achieving, who are going for it, and you're not really listening to the naysayers, which we all know are all around, that will, like the crab mentality. Once they see you going up, they'll try to pull you back in the pod, kind of thing. But I don't know. If that sounds, was that cohesive? Did I kind of tie them all together all right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. And one of the things that comes up when you mentioned, if we're clear on our why and our passion, it disempowers that fear, and it expands our vision. If our focus is on what our passion is, and that's exactly how I got past the fear of the whole internet, social media, and video, because my passion and my why was more important than that fear. So
Right.
yeah, and that's exactly what it does. It disempowers that, and it expands our vision. Another one of the suggestions that many people had is the reason for not achieving our goals and our dreams is not enough action, not enough massive action. Well, if these other three things are in place, the action will be motivated or empowered by that, right? If our vision is big enough,
Right.
if our self-esteem is there and we know we deserve it, and if we're not afraid, then nothing is holding us back from taking that massive action.
Right.
So it has everything to do with everything. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Greg. That was awesome. Kelly, over to you.
Awesome. Yeah. Great topic tonight. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
It was interesting when Ray was talking about listening to his own recordings and doing it late at night. That's actually how I used to study for my finals in high school. I would actually record, especially things where I needed to memorize dates and names and formulas and this and that. And I would take my little tape recorder and I would tape everything I needed to know for the test. I wouldn't study nothing. I would study nothing. I would do this tape. As I was falling asleep at night, just as I was about to just fall asleep, I just pushed play. And literally, I was an A student in school because stuff would just be there in my subconscious mind. So the power of our subconscious mind, it's interesting because our subconscious mind doesn't actually know reality from our vision. And so it has the power to put this vision into play. And oftentimes that's how sports athletes, exceed their, to become Olympians, often is just in the visioning of it. And, of course they have coaches helping them all along the way. But you have to understand you have a powerful mind, and it can work for you or it can work against you. And fear is something that pops up for every single one of us. It doesn't matter who we are. We all experiences that. We all have that same human condition, if you will, of experiencing fear. But we also have the ability to overcome that fear. And it's an interesting thing when you become a leader, because of course your team is looking at you, as the courageous one going out ahead. I remember one time, we were just, that was the whole day was about overcoming fear. And we went to West Edmonton Mall, and they had these water slides up there, and one of them's called the Screamer. And it is like straight down.
I know that slide.
Have you been on that slide?
Oh yeah.
It is like the first 30 feet
It's
is
a screamer.
It is free fall. You're not even touching the slide, right? So I'm going, okay, I'm the leader. I'm supposed to be the one overcoming the fear here. And I was shaking in my boots, but on the way up, all these guys, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. We can do this. We can do this. And, each one of us got on that slide. And by the time we were at the bottom, we were like, yahoo, let's do that again. And so it doesn't take that much to actually overcome the fear. Just take the action. And, a little less talk, a little more action is what we want to have. And I just want to also note that, as far as the self-image goes, it's kind of based on what we tend to do is we tend to compare our weaknesses to others' strengths. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're not going to shine really bright then. So, you know, and really we shouldn't do any comparisons at all, because we're all very unique. We all have gifts, talents, traits to bring to the community. And we all have our experiences that can really glue things together for each other. So I love stories. I think stories are what you know, people relate more to than just facts and figures and numbers. And you know, I guess it depends who you are, but I think for most people, it's grabbing us emotionally. And the thing that grabs you emotionally is that reason why you're here. Why are you here? What is that? What is that one thing that just is your burning desire that you must have or do or be in your life? And it has to be big enough so that when these obstacles of fear and your own perception and self-image and limiting vision, that limited vision is a big one too. You have to have a big enough dream or a goal, one that can almost scare you a little bit, like getting out of that comfort zone and doing video and being here, right? I mean, who just was naturally born for this? I don't know about you guys, but certainly not me. But I'm getting more used to it, and everybody can do this. And I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for the platform, Susan. You give us a lot of ability to voice. As you say, the next one will be Voices of the Community, where we'll fill this screen with all the faces and voices. So come prepared to give us your best, as far as, you know, what's in your heart that can just add to everything that we do here. So back to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. I love what you shared and agree with it all. And you reminded me, stories really do create that emotional transportation. And that's part of the value here, for hearing pieces of everyone's stories and their inflection upon it. It triggers our emotions, and that's what drives us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Over to you, Craig.
Yes, actually, this has been one of the most fearful things I've ever done, is to get on these videos. And Kelly, you've always been great, so I've never seen where you were uncomfortable, or at least you were good at hiding it. But yeah, and that's one thing about my sponsor, Jason. He's always been good at throwing me into my comfort zone. And so when he asked me to be a part of this, and then I learned I had to do this, it was very uncomfortable. But one of the things about this industry, the more I do it, the better I'm getting at it and feel comfortable with it. But one of the things about this industry is that I don't think people leave the industry so much because they're not making any money. Maybe that's part of it, but I think they leave the industry because the things that we have to go through to make this business work, it will fillet you open, and it shows you what you're made of. And if you're willing to overcome those things and stick it out, that's the cream that rises to the top. So the dream, I think, is probably one of the most important things. And I think the dream helps you to get over the other two. Yes, you still have to put the work in, the action in, and as everyone has probably heard, action conquers fear, laziness, and doubt. Okay, and that is so true. I mean, before I make my calls on Thursdays or any day that I make my calls, I have a little lump in my throat before I get started. It's not so much fear, it's just I got to make that first call, and that's the way it always is. So you have to conquer it. I was listening to a call Peter did, or excuse me, a recording Peter did on Facebook. And at the end of it, a lady asked a question about, she said, I just am fearful. And Peter said, the only answer I can give you is it's always going to be there. You just have to do it. You just have to do it, just like Nike. If you want to overcome it, you just have to do it. And eventually it will become comfortable. So I think the dream is important. I would ask everybody just to ask yourselves, if you were you able to pull out your desires and dreams? Do you have it on paper? In other words, do you know, for you guys or gals that like cars, do you know what kind of car you want to drive? Do you know how much money you want to have in your purse or in your wallet? Can I see that on your list? What kind of vacations do you want to go on? Where do you want to go? What charities do you want to give to? And a lot of times, I've been told, and I agree with this, some may not, but dreams have to be selfish, because when your things are not going the way that you want them to go, we have a tendency to think of ourselves. So dreams, I do believe, have to be, most of them, selfish, what you want or what you want for your family. But I think that's important, the dream. And then just by putting in the action will overcome that fear and build your self-esteem. I know that every time I make phone calls, whether it be follow-up phone calls or initial calls or putting out a video like I'm starting to do in emails. By the way, Tammy, I sent you one. See what you think about that on Skype. I feel so much better about myself. So I just encourage everyone just to do it. I mean, that's such a great slogan. Just do it, right? So thank you for the time, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Love it, Craig. That is really powerful. Everything that you shared, and I want to see the video too. I love watching your growth, everyone's growth in video, because it is so powerful. That's how we humanize this whole internet digital thing, is by being real and sharing videos with our connections, our new leads, our candidates, our friends, our colleagues. That's how we create some lifelong work partnerships. All of us here today met, connected, and have built amazing lifelong relationships because of video.
Well,
And
what's
not
funny
one of
about
us
me,
started,
Dan,
well, maybe Gregory was always comfortable with video, I think, but not the rest of us. We were not. So thank goodness. What were you going to say, Craig?
well, I just wanted to add that, again, I was very uncomfortable with doing that. And I just said, the heck with it. And I went ahead and made up the video, and I've made some other ones, but I just haven't sent them out. So I was just kind of practicing. But this one, I said, I'm going to go ahead and invite people to the webinar last night. And so I sent it out to my list. I had 2 people come that I know of. There might have been more there. And I do believe one of them was someone that I've known for quite some time that's going to get involved. He looked at another business we had and didn't get involved with that, but I think this is probably going to get involved with. So I was pretty proud of myself and pretty excited about it. So all that wasted time, you think something's going to happen negatively, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So anyway, thanks again. And I'll get that video over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tammy, are you ready?
I am ready, as I will ever be tonight.
And if your mouth is uncomfortable or sore, you don't have to talk long.
Well, it's actually pretty good now. I'm pretty relaxed, So yeah, I took some pain relievers a little earlier. So anyway, no, this is a really good topic tonight. So happy anniversary, Ray, by the way. Years ago, about 30 years ago, I was actually fearful that I was going to lead a mediocre life for myself and for my family. So I set out on the education in the different area of my whole family. I was like the black sheep of the family. I was fearful of what everybody would think of me. And I said, who cares? I started to think, wow, well, they're going to think, well, I'm failing, or this or that. And honestly, I got over it real fast. And I can remember times when my cousin would look at me and say, you know what, just all that work, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And I said, to be free, to have the freedom for myself and for my family, so I don't have to be doing the 40-40 thing. So right there, I started self-educating myself. I started working on my mindset. I went to events. I went to everything I could possibly do in the area of real estate, of being a mortgage broker. I wanted to be the best that there was in this county. What happened in 2008 was really tough. With the mortgage crisis and the failing of our businesses, and it was public. I had 2 restaurants that failed. And you know what? I said to myself, but what did those people do? What did those people do that were actually criticizing me? You know, did they go through that? Did they have the guts? Did they have the audacity to do that, right? And I could say, no, at the end of my life, I can say that I have done everything that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So fear, if you've never been through failure in businesses, you will. You will fail. I've failed many times in this industry. I had an MLM kick me out. You know, I was a top sponsor and I had that happen to me. You know, and I look at it like, really, who is watching? It's just like when Susan and I were dancing and joking around in New York City just recently. She's like, she reminded me. She said, who's looking? And I said, you know what? No one's looking. And we just had a ball. We just partied. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think you have to do. You have to absolutely live your life the way you want to live it, because no one else is paying your bills but you. You know what I mean? So fear is literally gone when you educate yourself. So was I fearful to get on this video hangout with Susan 3 years ago? Absolutely. I was fearful. I was 120 some pounds overweight. What did I do? I educated myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to walk every single day. I'm going to get to that event that Susan told me that we're going to go to. So I worked hard towards it. Was I fearful that I wouldn't lose the weight? Sure, because I tried 10, 15 years before and failed. You know, for 10 to 15 years I failed. Was I fearful I wasn't going to lose the weight again? Yeah. But I did it. I pushed through. The other thing I want to talk about is if you are fearful of getting on the phone, the only way to do it, the only way is it's just like I learned at a real estate event one time. They're just people, just like us right here. You know, they put their pant leg on one at a time, just like we do. And that was one of the best things that a mentor always that told me that, you know. And I mean, I'm not an English major. I'm not a college. I don't have a PhD in college. You don't have to. That's the cool part about this business. You can be who you want to be, you know. So I recommend to get educated in the different areas that you are fearful of. You know, if you're fearful of doing video, we have the video training. You guys don't see, some of you new people don't know where I come from. Again, Susan has helped me get through that video fear, you know, and now I do them all the time, and it's really, really improved. It improves every time I do one. The other thing I wanted to talk about is everybody has some fear, absolutely, because otherwise we'd be jumping off a bridge. I'd be jumping off of my balcony right now, right? So you have to have some fear. But the biggest thing is just sail forward fast. You know, if a marketing campaign or you know, you get stuck on a GetResponse or AWeber, guess what? Susan and I have the same experiences. We do. We have the same experiences that we go through on a day-to-day basis. That's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? The other thing I want to say is the limited vision. You have to project yourself into the future. You have to say, well, what am I going to be doing in a year from now or 5 years from now? Am I going to be in the same situation that I am now? Because time's going to pass anyway. So that's what I said to myself. You know, I said, I can't go another year. It was almost where I wasn't going to live if I didn't drop this weight. A doctor told me that. You know, it was the best feeling to be able to tell him just a couple weeks ago. I walked in and he goes, wow, who are you? I don't even recognize you. That was the best feeling in the world. You have two motivators in life. You have your positive motivator, which you guys are my positive motivators. Susan's my positive motivator. Everybody here, my family, they're my positive motivators. Then you have your negative motivators. And he was my negative motivator because he told me he didn't trust me. You know, you have those people in your life that you just want to prove something. So that is going to, your mindset is going to make you sit down and say, okay, let's get busy. You know, let's do this. You know, let's analyze this. Let's figure out what it is that you're really fearful. And like Craig said, you know, and I even did some of those callback trainings. I was fearful. I'd never done it in front of a group of people before. And, you know, and I'd never talked in front of people before. But now every time I do it, it gets easier and easier and easier. You can ask Susan. I mean, she's like, you know, and she even said to me, hey, I'm nervous too at our first event. I'm like, you are? It's like, And we high-fived after we got that thing done, and we're like, yay, we did it. You know, the celebration afterwards and your accomplishments are going to push you to the next, to the next, to the next. When you generate one lead, like I told someone today, he's on here, I said, you generated one lead. You can do it again and again and again. That's a big accomplishment, guys. When you generate leads and when you have people sign up, you know, that's a big accomplishment. You know, 1%, I mean, I don't even know what the percentage is, but that sometimes don't even happen, generating leads, because the person hasn't even sat down long enough to even generate a lead. You know what I'm saying? So give yourself a pat on the back when you do these things, and you know, celebrate. You know, celebrate your successes, and then, like everything else, your self-esteem is going to go up. It's going to keep going up and up and up, and you're going to say, wow, that financial thermostat that Susan talked about is going to be adjusted. When you have a taste of the good life, you know what I mean? You don't want to go backwards. When you have the good taste of good life, you can say, wow, well, okay. And materialistic things, I've learned to live like, these are four walls. I don't need these four walls. I've lost homes. That's not it for me. What is it for me is people changing people's lives, you know? So honestly, that's pretty much, I had tons of notes on here tonight because this is just like my favorite. We had this on Monday, and Susan went over this on the Monday night call, and I just think that so many people think that, oh, well, you know, such and such, and like Susan said, I can't remember who said, don't compare yourself to other people. Do your thing, you know, do your thing. I mean, I was like, man, I want to do videos like Susan. Like in the beginning, I was like comparing myself to her, you know, she's doing these videos and stuff like that. And she's like, no, you are you, you know, she's like, show your true colors. You know, that's the thing. Everybody needs to show their true colors because everybody has so much wonderful experience to bring to the table here. You know, I'm just honored to be working with all you guys, you know, because you make me better and better every single day, to be honest, you know. So that's what I had to say. You know, just go out there and do it. It's just really, it's really going to change your life when you do. When you sit down and you know, put your goals, your visions, you know, whatever you want to do. You know, this is what I say too to a lot of people. What do you want your Christmas to look like? Because a lot of times people are like, you know, they're just like, you know, hey, you know, and we're building upon, it's, you know, the middle of July. You're building right now. You're getting your leads. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be in the boom season. You know, when everybody starts going back to school, boom season. I am like, I love this time of year. Is the busiest time of the year. So if you need help in that area, lead generation, whatever it may be, that's what I did. Is with my mentor and with the training, I plugged in. I know we got a lot of trainings and it can be a little overwhelming, but pick the ones that you feel that you need the most guidance in. You know, pick those ones and then plug in. If you need lead generation, then lead generation. You know what I mean? I think that's what I wanted to say tonight, Susan. And it's
Thank you.
Really good now.
Jeez, you did well.
I'm like, that kicked in when I needed to.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. And the one of the things that just jumped into my mind as you were speaking, and essentially everyone touched on this, but I want to state it succinctly. One of the best ways to overcome fear is to look at one of the causes of fear. And usually we're afraid because it's something unknown. We don't know the result. We don't know what we're about to face. It's something that we don't know that creates fear within us. It's a normal trigger within us. So how do we become known to that? Educate, knowledge. So reading, be around people that are doing the same things, and just go to events, study, like Tammy said. If it's lead generation, focus on that. So it's by increasing our knowledge that we decrease the amount of things that we're afraid of. It's the best way to do it, and then just do it. Thank you very much, each one of you. I actually, I'm thrilled with how it turned out. If any of you in the audience, if you have any questions, shoot them out. Give us some feedback. As I said, we feed you, you feed us. It goes like give and take. It's like we're doing a little dance here.
Yes.
So your comments are valuable to us, absolutely. And so in closing, the statement that I wrote here is when each of us begins to truly see and understand the specific dynamics that can drive us to create success, happiness, joy, abundance. These are just very basic dynamics. We don't have to overcomplicate it. It's really core stuff. We can overcome anything. The unhealthiness, the destructive patterns that we all have. We all create bad habits. The way to correct them is to just reprogram. We can connect more fully to everything, including a healthy lifestyle, vital and the most loving parts of ourselves, which that's what creates the momentum, the abundance, enhances our relationships. And when all of those things are good, we work better. We have a clearer mind and we'll be more productive in our conversations and building relationships with our candidates and with our co-workers, our colleagues, and just everything blossoms when we water the garden. So that's what this is about. And I'm feeling very grateful right now. And wow, we're just right at the top of the hour. How succinct, perfect. Another episode of Hangout with Mentors. And again, as I mentioned in the beginning, we show up here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. And we do it on purpose. We kind of like hanging out together. And who are we? The Unstoppable Alliance. I didn't touch on that in the beginning, but we're a community that we work together, we laugh together, we challenge each other, we're accountable to each other. And again, we choose that all on purpose. And that creates a safe learning environment, a cohesive community where everyone that engages and that takes part in it truly thrives. And I think everybody can agree with that. I'm not just, where's the bullshit button, Tammy? It's not, it really is real. It's not hype. Everyone thrives in.
Let me press it.
That. So that's what Unstoppable Alliance is. And on that note,
press it after the recording ends.
Yeah, I'll stop the recording now. And thank you, each one of you, for hanging out with me here again tonight.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.